Hi, my name is Rick Weaver, and today is Wednesday, March the 9th or March the 7th, and it is just a little bit over 1 year since I had sudden sensorineural hearing loss. That happened to me on March the 4th, 2017. So here's basically what happened. Friday, March 3rd, I had flown from Pennsylvania to Florida for a few things. Flew back that night. Didn't really have too much going on as far as ear pressure, which I often do have when I fly, but no incidents really when I got off the plane on March the 3rd. So Saturday, March the 4th, got up the way I normally would, probably worked out like I usually do, and then in the afternoon, my wife and I went out shopping. So we stopped for lunch around 12, had lunch, got in the car, had to sneeze a couple of times, and it was about 12:30 now, and I suddenly noticed a ringing in my right ear. And it was really kind of strange. I just couldn't get that ringing to stop. So we're driving around, and I'm starting to get concerned about it and seem to be having trouble hearing. And you get that, it feels like water in your ear. It was like a full feeling. So went home, really concerned, started doing some research on this, what was happening, why was I having this fullness in my ear, how do you clear your ear? So I was trying a number of different tricks that you're supposed to do if you have like fullness in your ear, like your eustachian tube is clogged or whatever. So nothing was working, so had to make a call and decided, you know what, I'm gonna go to an emergency doctor center and have them check this out and see what's going on. So went to see this guy. I won't say a whole lot of negative stuff about him, but really was kind of clueless. But he did say I should go see an ENT. Told me to take some Flonase, which I stopped and bought some, but of course that didn't do anything. So this is Saturday afternoon. Sunday, I am again continually concerned about the fact that I can't hear in my right ear. It seems clogged, nothing has worked. So trying to get an ENT appointment by calling a few places on Sunday. Didn't really expect to get in on Sunday, but wanted to give them a heads up that I wanted to come in on Monday. So fortunately, with local physicians group in my area, I was able to get in an appointment on Monday, and they gave me the news that this is sudden sensorineural hearing loss. For sure, they believed, and so the treatment, of course, is high doses of prednisone. So I went on high doses of prednisone for, it was like a tapered kind of thing, but I got them to extend it to like a 2.5 week, where I was on high dose for a week and then tapered off. And of course, over that time, really not much improvement, if any. So the initial audio test showed perfect hearing in my left ear, but profound loss in my right ear. Just really could not hear much of anything. And I even remember a couple days after this happened, with earphones in both ears, not being able to hear like anything in my right ear. So what else? I asked them to put me on an antiviral drug, which he did for a week. Can't remember what it was, but didn't seem to help at all. Didn't really try much of anything else. I only took oral prednisone because I tolerated very well. Didn't do any injections, and from what he said, there's really no evidence to suggest that if you can tolerate oral prednisone, that an injection is going to make any difference. So didn't go that route. I don't know what else. It was, I would say within 3 to 4 weeks, I maybe had up to 10-12% hearing in my right ear. So the good news was, if I did have headphones in at that point, I could get some sound in my right ear, so it gave it just a slightly more fuller feeling of hearing than just in my left ear. An interesting thing, if I'm remembering everything correctly, when in the first couple weeks, my left ear immediately sort of took over. And so if my wife would be on my right side and she was talking to me, I could kind of hear her because my left ear was hearing everything. Right ear, nothing. But once I started to gain a little bit of hearing in my right ear, even up to just like 10, 12, maybe 15%, if I'm being generous, it seemed like my left ear didn't want to compensate as much. So now I was getting a little sound in my right ear, very little. My left side is saying, okay, well, you're hearing now on the right side, so try to figure that out. So hearing my wife on the right side actually got a little bit worse. So I have had to since turn to her with my left ear mostly to try to hear. But like I said, good news is when I've got earphones in, and this is especially true now, after a year, I'd have to say I probably have 15% hearing in my right ear. I'd say that the clarity of the words is a little bit better than it had been at the very beginning. So if a person is speaking clearly, I can actually put an earbud in my right ear and make out the conversation. It's not great, it's not real loud, but I can hear clearly. And at this point, maybe a hearing aid in my right ear would be helpful. So that's been my experience. Here's a part of the ordeal that I've gone through that I'll share. I am a Christian, proud to be a Christian. I became a believer in Jesus Christ when I was in my early 20s, which is now over 35 years ago. So when this happened, although I was devastated the first few days, I won't deny that, I was very weepy, and this was a major loss, a huge life change. It's like mourning something you've lost. But nevertheless, because Christ lives in my heart, I know that it's not the end of the world. There's a time coming when all things will be restored to those who, thought I heard my cat behind me, when all things will be restored to those who believe. And I truly know that my sins are forgiven, and I have Jesus in my life, and one day I will spend all eternity with God in heaven. So nothing that happens in this life, in this world, can truly be catastrophic, because I have that knowledge of what's coming. And it's real, and I've never denied that it's real. I just have the certainty of what I came to believe. And I didn't always believe this way. When I was in my teenage years and college years, I really had a lot of doubts as to whether there was a God at all. And when I came to belief in Christ in like I said, my early 20s, then it became very real, and that's something I could never ever change or deny believing in, because I know that it's true. I hope that you'll find that for yourself. I hope that you'll begin to investigate Christianity, especially if you've undergone SSHL. You know how devastating it is, and you may be grasping for something. And please don't think that Jesus is a crutch for those that are weak. He is most definitely not. He is real, and he sustains me in every way at this point in my life. I'm not perfect by any means, not saying that I am, but I know what I know, and hopefully you'll seek him, and if you do, you'll find him. So that's it. That's all I can share. I get by now. Life is okay. You will adjust. Give yourself a few weeks to adjust to what's happened to you. You will adjust. The sense of loss you feel ongoing will be dependent partially on how severe your loss is and whether or not you have a hope that is beyond this life. So that's all I can say. Hopefully you find some encouragement in this. It's not all bad. Count your blessings. Count the things that you have that are good, and that's what will sustain you, I hope. Okay. Praying for you. Pray for me. God bless. Thanks.